Hey everybody, I'm Josh. Before we get started with the new season, I would just like to start off on a serious note. Everyone joked about the end of 2020 and just starting a whole new year. Well, it's happened. It's January 19th today. Tomorrow, the new president will be inaugurated. But this episode will not be posted until after the inauguration. I just want to say a few things going into a new year, going into a new administration, going into a new decade. I just want to say a few things that are not directed towards Trump or Republicans. That is not meant to be political whatsoever. Because I'm going back the last decade, even when Obama was in office. In the last decade, there has been so much divide and hatred in our country, from racial injustice to women's rights to the Me Too movement, as well as many other things, which doesn't include all of the gun violence we saw. I started doing this show at the height of the pandemic, to be honest, as a way for myself to pass some time. But I thought that in doing this show, you guys watching it would allow you to sit down, relax, and just escape the world for 30 minutes a week. 5 people really close to me passed away last year unexpectedly. And I'll admit it, 2020 sucked. I think when he was describing the first presidential debate, Jake Tapper was describing the debate, but what he said really fit into what 2020 was as a whole. He said, quote, "It's a hot mess inside a dumpster fire inside a train wreck," end quote. You know how when you're sick, but you won't admit you're sick, and you keep pushing and pushing and pushing until one day you wake up and you feel like death is at your door? That's your body's way of saying stop, rest, and slow down. Looking back at 2020, I think that was the universe's way of bitch slapping us all across the face and saying stop, rest, slow down. Everyone has been in such a hurry lately. And please, no one take offense to what I'm going to say, but everyone's gotten a little selfish. Whether it's cutting someone off on the street or not, if you're in line at the grocery store with 5 full carts of stuff and someone behind you has one item, let them go first. You know, I'm going to stop right there. But I'm not trying to say that we're all being selfish. What I'm trying to say is that back when 9/11 happened, we as a country, a united country, stood up together, dusted ourselves off, and kept moving forward. We were a country again. It didn't matter who your neighbor was. It didn't matter what your neighbor was. It just mattered that you were American, and we were there for each other. What happened to that? I think 2020 was, after the decade we've had, I think 2020 was the universe's way of saying, let's restart. I'm hitting the reset button. Everybody slow down. What did we do during quarantine? We spent time with family. Not that we had a choice, but we spent time with family. I know several families that during the pandemic and since the lockdown has started having family dinners again. They've started having game nights once a week. And it's all because of the quarantine, because it made everyone stop and slow down. We need to start remembering what is important and who is important. Because you never know when your last breath could be. Or when your friend's last breath will be. The only good thing that came out of 2020 was this show. Anyway, we need to start moving forward. And obviously, we can't move forward if we don't change things. And I hate change because I am kind of OCD. I like routines. I stick to routines. And I can't deviate from those routines. And with change, I have to make up new routines. And until what does work, what doesn't work, it's stressful, but we need to do that. We need to do that not just for ourselves, but for our country. this year, starting today in the show, the show is going to see a lot of changes, including a new name for the show. And though I'm considering it season 4, it's really a reboot of the show. It's going to have the same content. It's a new name. I'll go over everything in a segment here in just a few minutes. And all the changes are for the good. But it's my way of letting go of the past and moving forward. I'll explain what that means. But first, welcome to Just Sayin'. Hey everybody, welcome to Just Saying Yeah. There's a new name for the show, and I will explain all of that. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. Obviously, I'm going to explain everything to you guys and all the changes coming. And all of them are for the good. I think it's going to make the show better. And we'll see. I'm really excited about everything, so I hope you are as well. Let's get into the host chat. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. I did. And I have to brag for a minute. For the last no more than 3 years, my immediate family has been 14 of us. And that's a lot of people. And I always bitch about it. Trust me. Watch the show. I complain all the time. Anyway. So... by the time, when we do a holiday, it's a process. For example, at Christmas time, you have family dinner, you clean up from dinner, you get everybody situated or sort the presents out, you take turns opening presents, and ooh and ah, and mommy, open this, let me play with this, and get off your cell phones, and cleaning up after opening presents, and then packing everything up, and then the first person goes home. That whole process in the last few years took my family around 7 hours, average. This year, I understand that we were under a time constraint, but we still allowed ourselves 5 hours. I understand that we didn't get as many small presents, that it was mainly a few big presents, or a big present and then a few small ones. I get that. But this year just seemed to flow. We did our Christmas in under 3 hours. Under 3 hours. I'm so proud of us. And that includes, which we haven't done before, that includes 3 birthdays celebrations. 3. 1, 2, 3. And each birthday celebration had a cake, had presents to open. So it wasn't just happy birthday and moving on. No. It's a whole process. I do have to think, though, that had we done family pictures on Christmas, it would have taken another hour. And that's no exaggeration. Everybody just stopped complaining. Not pointing fingers, and to get everybody in the picture and smiling, and anyway, and I don't know, it wasn't even brought up, and I know that I thought about it, but I was not going to be like, hey, aren't we going to do family pictures? And I think everybody else there, except the main person who does the family pictures, or is insistent on the family pictures, I don't know if she even thought about it, but I think the rest of us did, because I know a couple of us talked afterwards, and they're like, I wasn't going to say anything. Mainly that was my nephews talking. But anyway, but we had a good Christmas. It went really well. It was really smooth. Flowed really well. Hope you guys had a good New Year's. There was something else. Oh, so I'm going to start something in the show. And I need to bring it up right now because it has something to do with our Christmas. I'm going to start something new in the show where I'm just going to ask you guys a question, a general question, and get your guys' opinions on the topic, just to get you guys more involved. Here's the topic for this week. So we have started, and I know a lot of people started, that anytime my parents host a holiday, you walk in, there's a basket that says phones, and you have to put your devices on in the basket. But they don't have to go in there until we start praying. Your phone has to be in the basket before we start praying, or when we're ready to start praying. And it's always it's started to be a debate as to whether or not a smartwatch counts as a device and should go in the basket or not. What are your guys' thoughts? I can see both sides of it. I have an Apple Watch. But the thing with me is that my phone is always on Do Not Disturb. I don't know why. I just don't like being bothered. But then I get pissed when I miss something because I don't want to be bothered. Anyway. So I always have my phone on Do Not Disturb. Therefore, I'm not getting the information on my phone's not alerting me of stuff. Or my watch is not alerting me of stuff. So I can understand that you can take it off. And let me define what I'm considering to be, for this question, what I'm considering to be a device, or a smartwatch, is that any type of watch that does more than time and date. If it's a Fitbit, it's a smartwatch, because I know people can get their text messages on it, and they're becoming more like an Apple Watch. So my definition of a smartwatch is any watch that does more than tell time and give you the date. Do you think that those should be put in the basket, or whatever you guys put your phones in? Are those considered devices that you should put away at family functions? Moving along. I hope you guys had a good New Year's. I did something really fun. I've never done it before. And don't worry, I can talk about it on the show. So I had COVID, which I'm going to talk about here in just a little bit. And I'm still, even to this day, I'm still a little leery about going out in public and being around a bunch of people. Excuse me. And for New Year's, knew I didn't want to do anything. I'm not a big partier. I'm not a drinker. I do other things. But I'm not big into social groups. Not to mention, and this has nothing to do with it, but not to mention a lot of places were closed. Because generally for New Year's, I'll go to somebody's house. But this year, with COVID, I had already tested negative, so it's not that I was quarantined still. But I just decided to stay home. And between Christmas and New Year's, my friend and I were texting, and her and her family, she's married and has a couple kids. We were talking about what we got for Christmas, and she's telling me about this new board game that she got, and it's called Just One. It's a lot of fun. So we did a Facebook Messenger, video messenger, and they had me on their laptop, set me on the table there, and I was a little AI for a little bit, I guess. It was fun. But the game is really fun. I don't want to go over on my information here, or on my time here, so I'll maybe bring it on one day or something, bring back the review section, I don't know. So, yeah, I tested positive with COVID there near the end of last season, and I just want to say, thankfully, I had a very, very mild case of it. I didn't have near what people are having. My biggest things were I would be in bed and asleep by 9 p.m. and I would wake up only because my alarm would go off at 8 a.m. the next day. And if I would have allowed myself to, I would have slept all day long. And everyone kept telling me, if that's what you want to do, do it. No, I don't want to. And my reasoning was because when I did test negative and start going back to work, I wouldn't be like, okay, I just slept for 10 days. Now I have no energy and I'm at work. I tried to stick to a routine, mainly because I have to stick to routines. I would get up, I'd get dressed, I'd come out, sit at my desk, do some stuff for the show or some other stuff, and basically sit here for at least 5 hours a day. And then generally by 3 o'clock, I'd go have no energy and go sit on the couch for a little bit. Or go take a nap, wake up for an hour, then go back to bed. Anyway, the other thing is, and you'll kind of notice it, you'll kind of notice it throughout the show. I hope this doesn't last long. And I've kind of already done it a few times. I've caught myself doing it. But I'll just forget what I'm doing. I will get up to go 5 feet away to grab something and get over there and be like, not so much what did I come over here for, but when did I come over here? What am I doing here? Like, totally forget everything and just all of a sudden be there and just don't remember what I was doing. It's really weird. So you'll notice, like, sometimes I'll pause and just forget what I'm doing. I don't know. Or I'll be talking about something going this way, and then in one word I'm talking about something totally different. That's just because I guess I'm thinking I'm talking about something else. I don't know. And I started catching myself doing it, but before I had no idea, and people thought I was on coke. Crack. You know, the good stuff. Kidding. Don't do it. The other things that bothered me about it was that I, to this day, still can't taste or smell anything. The taste is really bothering me. I'll be craving like chocolate, or I'll be craving meat, or a cherry cough drop, or I'm just trying to think of things. And I have a bag of cherry cough drops over there. And I'll be craving it. I can imagine what it tastes like in my head. I pop it in and nothing. I mean, it's weird. It's sad. I'm kind of depressed about it. I'm starting to think, will I ever taste again? My other fear about it is, will I still like the stuff I like now or liked before? Because I know I'm a smoker, and I know that being a smoker, like, my taste is inhibited anyway, if I use that word right. And so I get that. But will things taste differently to me? Or will, like, am I thinking they taste one way when really they don't taste that way at all, but my mind just makes me think that they're that way because I can't taste it? I don't know. I'm kind of worried about either A, not ever tasting again, or B, not liking things now that I liked before. So yeah, and then the no smell thing. Funny story. So I can't smell anything. I've complained to people all the time that I get random wafts of, like, natural gas or spray paint or fingernail polish remover, but I can't smell anything else. And so I had COVID maybe 2 weeks before Christmas, I would say. Because by the time Christmas came, it was beginning of December, because by the time Christmas came, I had tested negative. And every time I would go outside, I would get, like, random wafts of natural gas. And I kept telling people, it's just how weird, like, they're totally different smells. And it was actually natural gas. Come to find out, my neighbor had a gas leak. So, yeah. Apparently I can smell natural gas. Oh, it was funny. My dad owns the property, and I was like, hey, did you know that the light and electricity people are out at the duplex? They're like, yeah. My dad goes, yeah, there's a gas leak over there. I'm like, oh. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. One thing, as I said, a lot of changes coming to the show. I'm going to talk about them here coming up in just a few minutes. One thing that will never change, and we can't officially start a season without it, it's time for another cheesy monologue. Sorry, my dog's over there snoring. I'd like to once again thank LateNightLOL.com for my monologue jokes this week. I'm still working on writing my own. Trust me. It's just, I'm apparently not a funny person. I can't be made to think of something funny. Sometimes just funny things pop into my head. Anyway, moving right along. In 2012, we had the hottest record on year with 357 brand new record highs. Well, I guess you could say 358 if you count Lindsay Lohan. The oldest living American, a New Jersey woman, has just turned 114 years old. At her birthday party, she said, "Why are we celebrating? I just spent 114 years in New Jersey." A couple in New York who divorced over 50 years ago recently got remarried. I'll have to admit, after 50 years, that's got to be some hot makeup sex. A new Nielsen survey found that Washington, D.C. has the most 25 to 34-year-olds in the country who make over $100,000 a year. They're called hookers. I'm moving to D.C. According to a new report, its oldest registered user of Facebook is a 101-year-old woman named Florence. You can friend her, but don't get too excited about her spring break pictures. It's not an official show unless I f up a joke, right? Right. Moving right along. The only I gotta initiate the season, right? The only people the president feels he can really trust are his family. I guess that's why he gets a new one every couple years. It's time for my first joke of the week. And it's a good one. 2 first graders in Alabama were caught drinking alcohol during recess. Nothing happened to them as far as punishment because they were both 21. President Obama just announced a new student loan plan that will forgive debt after 20 years. Yeah, Obama said that forgiving debt is the most honorable thing someone can do. And then he repeated that in Chinese. Here's the first point to ponder of the new year. Do female dolphins ever get tattoos of 19-year-old college students? My New Year's resolution this year is to be more optimistic. You know, see the glass more half full. No matter what's in it. Whiskey, vodka, tonic, gin. Or gin and tonic. Here's a little tip for those of you whiskey drinkers out there. And I tried this. I'm obviously the one that figured it out. And I told a couple other people about this, and they tried it, and they agree with me. If you do a shot of whiskey, chase it with a Mountain Dew, and it will take the burn away. Try it, and comment below. Let me know if it worked for you. If you're 21. Don't do it if you're under 21. Because I better be clear about that, huh? Let's see. I'm trying to do more reading this year, so I turned on closed captioning. It's really helping me out. I need to lose 10 pounds before the beginning of spring. Now I only have 35 more to go. Love that for me. With 2021 officially started, I guess you could say hindsight is really 2020. And finally, Chevrolet announced its newest car in a press release written only in emojis. The idea came from Chevy's new CEO, Amber, a 16-year-old cheerleader. So as I mentioned, there is some changes coming to the show, and I'm going to talk to you about them now in my segment that I call The Spotlight. Should we address the elephant in the room? I'm not wearing a Blackhawk shirt. That's not the elephant. The elephant in the room is obviously the name of the show. I changed the name of the show and mainly made all of these changes for 2 reasons. The first reason is because when my initial concept of the show was for myself and a couple of my friends reading news stories and sitting and talking about them, kind of like hot topics. And obviously that didn't happen. And we were debating what to call the show when we initially started coming up with it, and I was like, we had already come up with the name Table Talk for the segment it was going to do, and I was like, well, we're going to be reading news stories and talking shit. And someone was like, well, what about talking shit? And then we just thought it sounded better the other way around. Shit talking. So that's where the initial concept of the show came from, and the name of the show. These changes, they're hard for me, but I'm excited about them. And I tell you that part because it was, like I said in my opening today, we need to stand up, dust ourselves off, and move forward. I can't look at the past, hold on to what the old concept of the show was. I need to break apart, and my show is obviously what I consider to be a success. I don't care if anybody watches it. I have fun putting them together and doing them. And to me, that's what counts. And it allows me to take time away from what's going on and just be what I want to be. And whether you guys watch, I hope you do. I'm trying to find content that will make you guys watch. But holding on to the old name was what I wanted, was what the show was initially going to be. And it didn't turn out to be that. I think that what it turned out to be was great. But I just felt that changing the name of the show let go of the old concept of the show. I also changed the name because, as we all know, we're dealing with COVID-19 and mitigations and restrictions, and the people that are hurting the most right now are small business owners. And they are your neighbors. They are not people who live in mansions and sit at a desk while everybody else around them makes the money. They go out, they work their asses off, and they provide for their family by providing for you. We need to support them right now. We need to stand up, and I am making it my mission this whole calendar year to support small businesses with something that I'm calling Operation Support Small. I've reached out to Chamber of Commerce's, I've reached out to small business owners that I know, and some that I found online. And if I didn't get everybody, and you know somebody who owns a small business and would like free promotion, please have them contact me. I'll put the information of the show up at the end of the show, like I always do, in ways of contacting me. However, I also know that I need to put out a better quality production of a show. So when I sent these letters out, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I told them that if they wanted to donate to the show so that I could upgrade my equipment, they would get more promotion. We do have a season sponsor this year, for this season, and it's American Food and Liquor Mart in Princeville, Illinois. I want to thank them for sponsoring us. Anytime we do the segment What's Wrong Here, they will be sponsoring that segment. And their information will always be at the end in the description below, as well as the business that I choose that every month for promoting. If I get a lot of people interested, it may be the business of the week instead of the business of the month. I'm working with some businesses to put a coupon code or a discount code in the description, not mention it on the show so that you have to read their business information to get it. And that way they can tell their people, their regular customers, hey, you can get a coupon code if you watch this kid's show. Or a kid, like I'm 7 again. God, I wish I could be 7 again. And then, so I would get more views, and for the people that watch it, they would get the code, and then that way they would go back into the person's business and spend money. So I'm willing to work with anyone that is wanting the free promotion or willing to donate so I can upgrade parts of the show. And I'm really doing it to promote small businesses. So if I get no donations from this, that's fine. I'm doing it to promote small businesses. So that's my main goal my main mission of the calendar year. And I'm not gonna lie. Last year, and I know I mentioned this a couple times, I started doing the show, and the way the things fell, the dates that the show's posted, just happened to work, and I just went with it. This year, I had to actually plan it out, because, for example, like my birthday show, I wanted to be at the end of the season for the season finale instead of the season premiere, and other little tweaks like that, that I actually had to count out and work out how many episodes per season and how many weeks, how much time off between seasons. And what I've come to is doing 4 10-episode seasons this year. So this is at season 4, 5, 6, and 7 will be all this year. I've more or less already got it planned out. Yes, I was quarantined for 10 days, people. No, I don't have them scripted, but I have them planned out. And what I mean by that is, actually, everything in this speech is kind of floating right now. With holidayinsights.com, last season we did a holiday every episode. A different holiday every episode. And as I was watching them back, I kind of got to notice, I kind of began to notice that I was more or less doing the same segments over and over again. Because the holidays I would pick were to celebrate stupid people, really. And so what I'm doing this year, if you can hear my dog, is every month there's a holiday. Whether it's Hispanic Heritage Month or Child Abuse Awareness Month, or every month has a celebration. I went on to holidayinsights.com and I found the little known monthly holidays that we're going to celebrate this year, and one segment out of each episode for all 4 seasons will reflect that monthly holiday. That way it allows me to do some other segments that I don't really do that much, and maybe come up with some more. And I do have some new segments this season. But with new segments also comes bye-bye to segments. The first one I'm doing away with is Ya Burnt. It's not my segment. I initially started copying it when I was looking to put content out, when I was looking for segments to do. And I'm not going to lie, when I was putting together last season, there was one point midway through the season, at least midway, if not longer than midway, I was planning out a show and thought to myself, you know what, I haven't done a Ya Burnt all season yet. And it just got to dawning on me, you know what, I have enough segments now, I have enough of my own content, that I don't really need to use that one anymore. I may do it down the road, I don't know. But for now, it's just not something. I want to come up with my own content, put my own show, my own segments out there, and be funny that way, and not stealing somebody else's jokes. The other thing that is going away is my segment Table Talk, for a few reasons. One, because the old concept was that was going to be the segment where I read a news story and we talk about it. Well, without us talking about it, it's just me sitting here reading you a news story, which you can get on the news. Let alone, now that I'm trying to make the shows more organized so that my content flows better, and that part of the quality of show flows better, I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, I'm starting to film my episodes. See, it happens all the time. I'm starting to film my episodes at least a week before they post. So by the time the episode posts, the news will be old anyway. So that segment's gone. I may do my take on current events or something that's happened, or something like that. But as far as sitting here reading you news stories, that's done. I have other content that I think is funnier and better to use than sitting here reading a news story. You can get that from E! or anywhere else, really. So I hope you're as excited about the new changes as I am. And also, along with the name change, I forgot to mention this, along with the name change, because I'm doing the Operation Support Small, I didn't think I something my sister said one time when I brought up the idea to her before I mentioned changing the name, which I had considered doing anyway. My sister said something about, I think what you're doing, what you're trying to do is great, but I just don't know how many businesses want to be associated with something called shit talking. And so that was kind of like the final nail in the coffin that I needed to change the name of the show. So that's another reason I changed it. And I was trying to debate on something. I had a couple of ideas as to what to call the show. My nephews always say that, and I've noticed I always say seriously. And so that my nephews kept pushing that to be the name of the show. But I watched a few episodes back, and I noticed I say just saying. Like, I'll show you something, I'll make a punchline, and that punchline would be just like, I'm just saying. So, be ready for me to not know what's going on, because all of the changes, I'm trying my best. I hope that I can put out a better quality of show with these changes, and it is season 4, even though it's a new name. I just changed the name of it. It's the same damn in the middle of the show. Okay, moving on. So, as I said, we are going to be using holidayinsights.com this year for our monthly holidays. And this month, January, it's National Hobby Month. And what better hobby do people have sometimes than going shopping? I like to shop as a hobby, and sometimes especially when I'm broke, I don't even buy anything. I just sit and drool over stuff. And to me, that's a hobby. And so I thought it would be fun to take a look at some other people shopping in a segment I call The Things You Can't Unsee. So this first one isn't really that bad. It's just really cute. It's a traffic jam in Walmart. How cute's that? Next up, you guys know I have a rule with this segment. If I have to see it, you have to see it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this one. I know I'm colorblind, but there's just a lot of something going on here. I'm not even going to begin to guess what that something is, because there's just so much going on. Okay. Ever since I started the show, obviously we've been in the middle of a pandemic. I've shown you pictures of people with jugs on their head. I've shown you pictures of people with saran wrapped themselves. I've shown you pictures of people with underwear on their heads. Never would I ever think I would see this on a show, let alone be the one showing it, 2 people wearing Tampax on their heads. Did you really not have anything better in your home than Tampax? Really? I mean, seriously. Now watch, I'm going to start saying seriously all the time, or catch myself saying it more. Okay. I'm just going to show you the picture and just remind you that if I have to see it, you have to see it. Not sure why they had to circle and draw the arrow. It was clear. Again, remember my golden rule. Now, I'm not saying anything just so that I don't get in trouble. Otherwise, it'd be a whole lot of this. And I don't want to get in trouble. So I'm just doing what my mama taught me, and that's not say anything if I don't have anything nice to say. This is the only time I'm ever going to do it, though. So don't be excited if I... Never mind. I know. Okay, first of all, you're in Walmart. What does Walmart sell? Everything, right? Including underwear and clothes. So if I were sick, first of all, I wouldn't even go shopping. Second of all, if I sharted, I would buy new clothes. Then just continue to walk around Walmart in that like that. There's no way that person doesn't know that that happened. No way. And I think that there should be a law that your pants, shorts, whatever you're wearing, bottoms, should at least cover your underwear. Or if you're wearing those pants, wear the correct underwear for the pants. Or none. Which is even more gross. Moving right along. It is the beginning of a new season, and with that comes my favorite things. And one of those favorite things is my segment that I call Here Come To Popo. So, here we go. This is where I take hilarious police blotters and show them to you, and we all have a good chuckle at people's stupidity. First one up. Police were informed February 25th by a resident of the 1000 block of Raritan Drive that a family in the area is taking over the minds of their local dogs and turning them against their owners. Police were advised by the person that the only way to protect your dog is to install an anti-force field on its head before letting the animal go outside. I don't think that's the only problem you got. Next up, neighbor dispute. A woman in the 500 block of Janesville Street Northeast reported that she was upset because her neighbor across the street refused to take down Christmas lights hanging in her window. The caller was advised to close her curtains. Oh, thanks. Really? You had to call the police for that? They have a lot better things to do than to tell you to close your blinds. Next up, September 7th, police were located the owner of a black cow on Highway 395 and asked him to move it. And I didn't alter that. That's how you know when you're in a small town. Just saying. At 12:22 p.m., a cellular caller reported a large snapping turtle in the roadway at Elm Street and Crescent Road. The turtle fled the area undetected. How long did it take those police to get there? Because turtles don't go that fast. Random. A report at 9:50 a.m. Thursday of a female who comes into the convenience store on Highway 371 in Bernard every day and buys a bottle of Listerine and then drives. How dare you? You know you're supposed to drink the Listerine before you leave the store. March 18th, 2012. On April 11th. A woman reported on April 11th that a man said hello to her and it's a nice evening. She told police she found this suspicious. Because people aren't nice. How rude. A caller on the morning of April 3rd advised that a car was going westbound on West Columbia from US Highway 101 was unusual for that time of day when most cars are headed eastbound. What? I mean, I get what it said, but seriously? Between 5 a.m. Friday and 5 a.m. Saturday, the RDPD arrested Susan Lynn, 41 of Rio Dell, on 6 warrants alleging petty theft, public drunkenness, child abandonment, possession of a hypodermic needle, possession of a fraudulent check, 5 vehicle code violations, and 23 counts of for failure to appear in court after being released on her own recognizance. She was released on her own recognizance. Seriously? Next up, a Le Sueur man calls himself Method Man on MySpace, also lists his occupation as meth cooker. So, this is MySpace. People are annoying. And finally, man in diaper directs traffic. Zach A. Newbert of Saxon, Virginia, was observed in the middle of the roadway wearing only tennis shoes and an adult diaper at 6:43 p.m. Saturday, according to Indiana Borough Police. Newbert was also directing traffic and performing martial arts with a stick. He was cited for public drunkenness and disorderly conduct. Well, that will do it for our first episode of season number 4. I hope you guys all are looking forward to the changes that I'm making, and I am looking forward to them. I'm excited. I hope it can do nothing but make the show better. We can only go up from here, right? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, officially season 4 has begun. I am so excited to be back. And like I said, change is coming. Be prepared for them next week. Next week, we're going to be celebrating another monthly holiday. We're going to still be celebrating National Hobby Month. But we're going to take a look at it for a hobby that parents love to do. And can you feel the sarcasm oozing out of that statement? Anyway, without further ado, if there's something funny you think I should see, or if you know a small business owner that would like some free promotion, have them contact me. Here's my socials. Be advised. I do want to point this out real quick. Within the next couple of seasons, I'm going to do away with my shit-talking email address and channel. I'm going to start I'm going to start a Just Sayin channel. I don't know what it's going to be called yet. But I'm going to do it here this season. Next season, season 5, I'm going to have the new account, post them on both. And then by season 6, it will just be the new account. So, I can't wait to have you all join me for all of the exciting changes. And be sure, with every video you watch of mine, please be sure to like, subscribe, and get the notifications anytime someone posts something. And let me know your thoughts on the whole smartwatch debate. Please, comment below. And let me know if you tried the whiskey with Mountain Dew trick. It works. No burn. Until next time, everybody. And I'm still working on how I'm going to close out the show. I may have my tagline already. I don't know. Let me know what you think. So I'm just going to say it like I normally would, but let me know at the bottom in the comments. Let me know what you think of my closing, or if you think there's one I should use. Oh! I'm an idiot. So there's a couple, I meant to mention this during my spotlight episode segment. There's a couple of big dates coming up in season 5 that I want to start preparing you for. First of all, season 5, and I believe it's the middle episode. There's one episode in the month of April, 5 in May, and then the rest, obviously, after that. And I believe it's the middle episode in May. I don't have the date on me, but it's our 50th show. I know, I'm excited about it. And I'm going to take a look back at the past 49 episodes. So that show should be fun. Also, throughout the month of May, and as I said, holidayinsights.com, we're doing the monthly holidays. May is Mystery Month. And so the first episode of the season, which will be the last episode of April, I'm going to give you guys a murder mystery. Throughout the next 5 weeks, throughout the show, sporadically, I'm going to be showing, saying, or doing something to give you a hint as to who the killer is. There is a $50 reward for the first person to email in and tell me who they think the killer is, and I will go by timestamp. The date and timestamp that I get the email is what I'm going by as far as who emails the quickest, the first one to email. I may have something that I put over here. I may have something that I put on your screen, or it may be in something that I say, or in a picture that I show. It's going to be subtle. I understand, and keep in mind, I understand that you guys can go back and rewatch this as many times as you want, which is what I hope you do. But knowing that, I've kind of turned that against you by making all the clues hard. A friend and I teamed up. We already have the clues ready. I'm still working on where to put them in the show and how to work them in, but I know what the clues are going to be. So, look forward to that. $50 reward to find a killer. Alright. Without further ado, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show and I hope you come back. And until next time, everybody, that's all I'm saying.